So guys, welcome to another episode of 5-Minute Boss Battles, and today and possibly for the rest of the week, I'll see, right? I'm going to be revisiting one of the best games of the 90s, right? And picture this, it was December of 1995 and I just got this bad boy. This is one of my absolute favorite games, so aesthetically pleasing, and almost every millennial that had a Sega Genesis had this game or knew about this game and wanted this game. Every child knew about this game. It was low-key fire. It was amazing, amazing, amazing. The art style, the direction of the game. Yes, of course, guys, we are talking about Comix Zone, right? Another side-scrolling beat 'em up, right? But this time around, it featured Sketch Turner, and it was a completely novel idea. Sketch Turner was the protagonist, and he was fighting his own creations, right? So I'm literally revisiting this game for the first time in years on my PlayStation 5. I downloaded the emulated copy not too long ago. Obviously, I do have this game in other forms, in the original form. It was one of my favorite games growing up, if not my favorite game growing up, right? So this game was insanely hard, right? It's known for being insanely hard. Speedrunners play this game, definitely. I'm not a speedrunner, right? I'm just here for nostalgia purposes, right? That's the purpose of 5-Minute Boss Battles. And if the boss battle, and if you're new to 5-Minute Boss Battles, it's basically if the boss battle itself is from 5 to 10 minutes, we give that episode, we give it the time of day it requires, right? If it falls into a certain time frame. And definitely one thing about Comix Zone is that every single mutant that you're facing is as difficult as a boss, right? So it's just one of the things about this game is that the difficulty level is just so amped up, right? That you can die at any single point in the game, and usually it doesn't come from the boss. It comes from just playing, versing one of the characters in the game, right? So it's just one of those things, and it's just 1995. It's Christmas time. I got this game, and it was literally the best of times, right? I was in my little apartment building in New York City, and it was just growing up. I have nothing but amazing memories about this game, regardless of how hard it is, how hard it was, how hard it is, right? It was just amazing. Look at the characters. The characters are so unique. Each one of them had a unique look, signature feel. They all moved differently. They all did different things. Like, take this guy, for example. He was climbing on pipes, and that was his main selling point as an antagonist. But you had to watch it for crates, exploding crates. You had nice little puzzle pieces in between. The one thing that irked me about this game was that when you had to destroy certain elements to get to the next area in the game, you would lose health, right? So you lost health for doing the correct things, right? Which kind of like was a little annoying, right? And I was like right here in the porting process, relearning the controls, right? Especially selecting the top items, one of the top 3 items that you're carrying around in your inventory. I'm still getting them confused as I'm playing this game, as I'm running through episode 1 of Comix Zone, right? But I'm doing pretty decent, right? I'm doing pretty decent for my first day playing Comix Zone again, right? It's basically a feeling out process again. But yeah, games in this era were dumb hard, right? And you didn't have save points. Fortunately for me, I have the emulated copy, so we can save slots, right? We're playing on an emulated copy right now, right? But so we can save slots. We have slots to save our progress. But back in the day, of course, you could not save your process. Save your progress. So very, very scary back in the day. Fortunately for us, though, right? The way I beat this game, I'm just gonna flat out say it, right? During this era, we used cheat codes like no one's business. We used to purchase the magazines. It was such a cool experience. You used to go to like your local Toys R Us or KB Toys, I think that's what the store was called. Damn. I hope this is bringing back some amazing memories for you guys as well. Was it KB Toys? Yeah, it was, right? So I used to go to my local store and just pick up one of the gaming magazines with all the cheat codes, and there was always a way to skip levels, right? And I think when I was younger, I got so frustrated. Playing on my Sega Genesis because of how difficult this game was that I just said screw it, and I just went to like the final boss one day, and I told my friends the next day, yeah, I beat the game. And of course I did, but I used the cheat codes. In this era, we used cheat codes, right? Because we could not save games, right? Could not save our progress. We used to just skip through levels like no one's business, right? Obviously, we don't do that now. I think a lot of this era's kind of like gaming relies on pay-to-win methods, right? Which I don't necessarily like. Of course, I'm playing FIFA FUT religiously, Ultimate Team, which is essentially, you know, free to play but pay to win as well, right? Pay to win gives you an advantage, right? Which I don't really like that implementation in the game, but I like the difficulty level of knowing that you can do things, right, in a free manner, right? You can still, you know, put in the grind work, and you can still compete head to head with people who are, you know, who are taking an advantage, right? So back in the day, before any of that pay-to-win nonsense, right, which is the direction that games have been going in, you really did rely on cheat codes, and especially when you couldn't save games, right? And this was before PlayStation kind of like trumped, before the PlayStation and Nintendo 64 kind of like trumped 2D gaming, right? But the 2D gaming aspect still exists. It's alive and well, but it's very, very difficult to it's very difficult to make it a selling point in this generation. There's just something about vintage 2D games during this time period that was a big selling point because it was based on their limitations, right? The creativity of, you know, the artists, the creativity of the developers really shone through through their efforts in unique, you know, only the best of the best, right, produced games at this time, right? Because there was a lot of graphical limitations, right? And 2D side scrollers, a lot of them seemed really monotonous, did not stand out. This game, however, stood out. It stood out. It felt like a comic book from start to finish. The bosses all seemed unique. The character models all looked unique. They all had different features, very, very distinct selling points to each of the villains, to each of the characters. Look at the first boss, right? So this was actually my point right here, right? Every single enemy that you faced, right, in Comix Zone, regardless of whether it was episode 1 or, you know, to the final episode, you're facing the same difficulty level, right, in opponents, right? And this boss is actually easier, right? Once you learn his movements, he's actually easier than some of the opponents that you face, right? And you just have to jump, high kick, run away, jump, high kick, run away, jump, high kick, run away, right? And use your special items. And even though it was easy, the journey to get to the boss was amazing, right? And we're going to be going through almost every single episode, right, of Comix Zone, because it literally is one of my favorite games of this generation. Guys, Christmas time was amazing when I was a kid. I loved my childhood so much. The 90s were so good to me. I loved it. And Comix Zone was one of those games that was a huge selling point then. Cheers!